This entire beat started from one simple piano melody, and with just a few layers from processing, it turned into this. Today I'm going to show you exactly what I did to create this dark Key Glock style beat. Everything from the melody, the sound selection, the processing, all the way to the drums and arrangement, so that you can recreate this sound in your own productions. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's break this beat down. We started off with just this piano right here. So very simple. This was all one MIDI file to begin with, but I split it out into two because I wanted to process the chords in the top line differently, and we'll get into that in a second. But taking a look at the chords, we are in the G sharp minor scale. These are very simple chords, just utilizing these half step intervals here to create that tension. Just a little change up at the end here. And then we drop down 4 notes for our bass notes in the second 4 bars of the pattern. The top line melody, just super simple, repetitive melody. Same thing, first 4 and second 4. So nothing too crazy there. Now, why I split it out is because I wanted to do some processing on the top line that I wasn't going to do to the chords. And that was utilizing this plugin right here, Blacmagic from Theater. They were kind enough to send me this to test out. I'm going to do a full review on this coming soon, but I was testing it out, and basically it's a reverb plugin that's designed for dark beats. It's more than just a reverb. It has some like creative effects in there to add some different textures. It sounds really cool. One quick word about the Blacmagic Reverb. I use it several times in this beat. If you think it sounds cool, I have put the link in the description to go check that out. They do have a 7-day free trial, and I also have a discount code for you. If you use the code Frenchie25, you can get 25% off of the Blacmagic Reverb or anything else you buy on the Theater website. Let's get back to the breakdown. So I went with this Velvet Noir preset here, and if we just solo this piano before the reverb and then adding it in, so you can hear there's reverb, but there's also this like creepy texture added in as well. And that's what's interesting about this Blacmagic Reverb. I'm going to use it again a little bit later in the video for another sound, but just wanted to show that off there. The only other processing I did on that was I did use this Cymatics Pulse. Gives it that pulsing effect, a little bit extra movement. And then just this EQ from Rosetta EQ, taking out some of the muddiness. Not very noticeable in this section, but there's another section where I drop the whole thing down an octave. So I want to take out some of that mud because there was a little bit of clashing with it and another part of the melody. So that was the processing there. The chords had no processing other than just cutting out the low end to leave room for our 808. All right, so the next thing we added was these strings. And this string preset is in the demo version of my upcoming Memphis kit. So if you like the preset, you can check it out there. And I threw Blacmagic on that. But before the Blacmagic, sounds like this. Okay, so just adding some more harmony there. And let's just solo that real quick. And then adding the Blacmagic Reverb, I used the Charred K preset here. And I might have tweaked some of these knobs. I don't really remember, but that sounds like this. So it's adding some extra noise, giving it a little bit more texture, and just making it a little bit more eerie. So altogether, it sounds like that. The next part of this melody was adding in this bell, which if we solo it before any processing, it sounds like this. And this preset is also in the demo of the Memphis kit that I'm working on. So you can pick that up right now for free. And the processing out of that was just halftime, and then another Blackmagic Reverb on this, which was using the Dark Sun preset. So those two effects combined give it this sound. And as far as the melody of that, it just follows the exact same top line melody as the piano. And, you know, just half-timing it, throwing on this reverb, gives some space, some atmosphere, and a little bit of a counter melody. So all together with the rest of the melodic elements, it sounds like this. So those Blackmagic Reverbs, they really add quite a bit of atmosphere and texture to this. And it's, you know, different than if I just threw a regular like Valhalla Vintage Verb on there. I really like the effect that it gave. The next thing I did when making this melody was I routed them all to this insert 14. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I like to route all my melody to a bus so that I can mix it all together, and I know where the general like peak levels are for that, so that I can make sure it's not too high and it's not going to be in the way of my drums. And I can also just cut out all the low end here if I wanted, instead of doing on each individual track. But I like doing it on the individual elements before this point. But the real reason I did it in this case was so I could throw a ToneFlex on there and create a flip of the melody. So with that ToneFlex on there, it sounds like this. So just adds a little bit different feel. We can look at the effects there. We have saturation, a resampler, chorus, tremolo, delay, and this was the chops preset. It is inside of the creative effects melody flipper section. So if you have ToneFlex, that preset is there. It is something really cool just to go through those melody flippers and see what kind of B section you can create for your melody using that. So bringing that in, it's in the intro, along with our piano layer and our bells layer. Together they sound like this. And then after the hook, and then I have a section where I drop that down 12 semitones, and then that's the same section where I have the top line piano playing dropped 12 semitones. So that easily I'm able to create not just a B section, but a C section by adding and taking out other elements. And then there's another section here where I bring those strings in. And then this last section here is just the same as the intro. So yeah, that's the melody. Very simple. We didn't look at this strings melody, but it's just following the root notes. Yeah, real simple. Just adding another layer to our melody. Let's get into the drums. Start off with the hi-hat and the snare. It's just a two-step hi-hat pattern, and I randomized the velocities. So you can see the velocities down here. They're just varied to give it some different bounce. Snare pattern, very simple. We're just on the 3 and the 7 with an extra hit on the 4th bar. I like to do that a lot. I don't do one here. And the reason for that is because I have a snare roll with the bounce snare. So with the hi-hat and the snares, it sounds like this. So once I have that initial bounce down, there's no reason really to get super crazy with the hi-hats when you're making these Key Glock type beats, these dark Memphis type beats. A lot of them have the simple two-step. You can take some notes out. You can throw a couple rolls in there. For this one, there's enough else going on that I felt like I didn't need to do anything else other than just varying those velocities to make it a little bit different. And the next step is just feeling where those kicks are going to go. So I came up with a kick pattern. Sounds like this. After that, just copy the kick pattern onto the sub 808, and then I just change the pitches of that 808 to match the root notes of the chords, and together it sounds like this. So you'll notice I had a little octave jump in there at one point, and then again at the end I jump octaves. That movement really adds something to it and makes it not feel so stagnant. After that, layered some hi-hats, some open hats I should say, very sparse, and then just some triangles as a perk sound in between to fill up some space, give it some extra bounce, and altogether the drums sound like this. From there, all it is arrangement. I take everything out except for the snare and hi-hat at the beginning of the verse. I bring the kick back in on the second 4 bars, but the last bar, I cut all the drums. Then I drop back into all the drums except for the triangle. For the next 8 bars, bring the triangle in for the next 8 bars. Take everything out except for the snare and the sub 808 for our last section here. And then I cut on the snare before the 4th bar, so I took out all the drums again before dropping back into the hook with all the drums. Before we play the final beat, I just want to give a few quick takeaways from this breakdown. Number 1, sound selection. Sound selection is so important. You can't go wrong with keys, strings, and bells for these Key Glock style melodies, and then the drum sounds, they have to be hidden. If you like the sounds that I used in this video, make sure you grab the free demo pack. It's in the description. Completely free. You got drum sounds, you got melodies, you got some MIDI patterns, you got analog lab presets, a bunch of stuff in there, and it's just a small sample of what's to come in the full pack later on, so make sure you check that out. The other thing is just keep it simple. None of these patterns were super complex. It's all about having something that's memorable, something that sounds good, and having the correct bounce. The rest of it's just going to fall into place. Also, last thing, if you liked that Blacmagic Reverb and you want to check it out for yourself, I've put the link in the description, and there is a discount code. If you use the code Frenchy25, you will get 25% off of anything you buy from Theater, including the Blacmagic Reverb. So let's listen to the final beat.